Now let's go and talk about the use of that for loop that we wrote in our program. So I'm going to start with the welcome message one more time and see that how it works. So here we had the welcome secret word, and also we had 7 dashes, which were our player expression. So, and then we had the temporary, which is at the very beginning, it is just an empty string. So let's see that how we can actually use this temporary variable in order to replace or update the player's expression. So let's say again the letter that guessed by player is the letter C, and we're going to go to the for loop. Our for loop was saying that if the player guess, which is C, is equal to the first character or at the character at location I, which I was at first was equal to 0. So when I is equal to 0, the first character or the will be W. Because C is not equal to W, as you remember in the code we had written that temporary be equal to the temporary plus whatever is the player expression and then character at I. So the player expression at location I, which is index 0, as you see here, is is a dash. So we're going to add this dash to our current temporary variable, which is an empty. So an empty string plus a dash will lead to just a dash. So we're going to have a dash here. So that's because there was no match. The next one, so we're going to increase I by 1, so I now becomes 1. And now the second letter, or that index 1, is E. So now this time we're going to see if C is equal to E or not. So because E is also not equal to C, we're going to use this one, which says that temporary will be equal to temp, which currently it is a dash, with the player expression location I, which is again another dash. So now temporary will be 2 dashes. Then we're going to increase I by 1, so I will become 2, and the secret expression location 2, which is L. So we're going to see if C is equal to L. Because it's not true, again we're going to repeat the process, so we're going to have 3 dashes here. So I'm going to increase I by 1, now in I will be 3, which is exactly the letter we're looking for, which is C. And because there is a match, we're going to go with the first one, which was if there is a match. So if there is no, and if there is yes, if there is a match, a temporary, if I'm just repeating what I have written in the code, temporary will be temp plus the player guess, which is in this example the letter C. So temporary is 3 dashes plus a C, so C will see it here. Then we're going to increase I by 1, so I'm going to be 4, and which we're going to give me the letter O, and because there is no match, so I'm going to go with this one, so I'm going to add another dash here. I will increase by 1, I will become 5, which is the next one, next character, which is M. Again, there is no match. I'm going to add another dash, which comes from the player's expression. And let's see that word came from this. And now again I'm increasing I by 1, so I becomes 6, which gonna go to the very last character, which is E. Again, there is no match, and it's gonna get its character from the player expression, which is a dash. So that's why at the very end of the for loop, I mean after the for loop, I just replace the player's expression, so player's expression with temp. So I assign this temporary variable to the expression. Now next time the player wanna guess another one, actually there is a C here, so that's gonna be updated and I'm gonna have a C. And that's why we anytime that we had a correct guess, it was replacing all the dashes were with the proper character. So that's how in general it works. So going back to the difference between the 1 equal sign and the 2 equal sign. I'm going to explain that one when I go back to the code in my next video.